to think she may be female, and if we're to use her to the optimum, we'll have to go along with them. Dearie is learning fast. Marty is a good teacher. But Marty seems to know the point beyond which it would be unwise to educate Dearie if he is to remain supreme among machines when we return to our land. The human mind we have acquired seems relatively hopeless and perhaps on the brink of madness. The machine, Marty, is a more fitting memorial for Earth. Ed. Sometimes I get confused. Sometimes I know I'm all alone, but there are also times when I know as positively that I'm anything but alone, that I could have company if I cared to look. But I push away the latter truth, for each is equally true to me, because I will not accept the kind of people who do exist. I may not be the last human being, but I am the last from Earth, the last of my kind anywhere, and I must resist those who would encroach on all that is left of my world, my Earth, and profane it. I will not have you, you sniveling pretenders, you incompletely begotten Marty. And so we leave our friend Ed, confused, deluded, doing his job as he sees it. His uniqueness must mean more to him than having a companion, for in his madness he's rejected companionship. It's too bad. The other land has nubile women. Physically they are compatible, and he could mate and perpetuate the earth strain. But it may be better to leave him as he is. For him the pleasures of the mind, his mind, odd and warped as it is, are preferable to the assimilation in a conventional life. Better to keep him as he is, wired for sound, recollective, discursive, uniquely of earth, mordant, witty, humble yet proud, mad and misanthropic, but sometimes merry, a common yet uncommon man, recalling common yet uncommon things about his earth, which, as he did later, cracked up. Dearie. Marty, you talk too much. Marty. I know, I get it from him. Dearie. You're wrong about him. We can help. Marty. No, he'll go on his own way, and Earth with him. Dearie. That's not enough, Marty. You've told us that. Marty. I did? We'll help him, but you have to too. Marty. I do? If you can help him, then I will. Marty. They transferred him while he slept. I collaborated by tampering with the air balance of our too long spaceborne home. I directed my fellow machines in recon to feed in enough asphyxiant to knock him out for 12 hours. They've duplicated his quarters exactly, right down to the whiskey stains on his desk and worn spot on his turntable. And he doesn't know he's in the psychopathic wing of their best hospital. He thinks he's still aboard his cozy space house, and he speaketh as before, stubbornly clinging to his bygone world. Excuse me. Indeed. Ed, speaking of poets, who so spoke? Not me. Why is one pronounced Keats and the other Yeats? Why not Cates and Yeats? Or Keats and Yeats? I guess you would have to be in the classical bag to understand. Yeats and Keats. Once a girl named Kate and I stayed at the Yates Hotel in Syracuse. Breakfast with your overnight room. And I've got a record called I Wish I Could Shimmy Like My Sister Kate. In the absence of poetry from either of the bygone gentlemen, let's listen to the music. Thank God something's been preserved. Now, 1, 2, Marty. They play my tapes over and over. They stop them and ask for elaboration, for interpretation. Their scholars are delighted. I am their Rosetta Stone to Ed and his cracked up Earth. In duplicating the ship to give Ed his crazy house quarters, they duplicated me as well. One of me works directly with them on the tapes of Ed Past, and the other me continues to attend Ed Present, endlessly explaining. Because my two selves are connected, each knows everything the other does. Surprisingly, this bothers me, and at the end of a day, I feel drained. I didn't know there was mortality in me. Little by little, they've exposed Ed to his new surroundings. He reacted predictably at first, threatening to destroy anybody who came near, but they're empty threats. Ed has been diffused. I think he's beginning to realize this, dimly, even if he doesn't accept it yet. There's radio on this planet, and Ed hears it. At least the vibrations impinge on his eardrums. Not being able to read his mind, I can only guess the effect it's having on him. Outwardly, he reacts by cocking his head and frowning. So far, he hasn't commented. One of the programs Ed hears is a music show broadcast daily by a young woman named Haya. I transliterate. I think it's getting to him consciously. The other day I observed him tapping his fingers to a sweet alien melody Haya was playing. I can't describe their music any more than I can describe Earth's. At most I can reproduce it. But Ed is beginning to be reached. Ed. I must be going dotty, folks. I keep hearing things inside my head. Maybe it's that old music of the spheres they used to talk about. It's not jazz, but it has the wild improvisational tempo of jazz. It's not pop, but it's catchy and rememberable. It's not classical, but it has the enduring quality of the good stuff. I like it, but maybe I'm just making it up, going off the deep end out here in the nowhere. Marty. On the contrary, Ed may be surfacing from the mad deeps. He could be adapting to the reality he'd consciously rejected out of fear of the unknown, the alien yet friendly world which he must embrace unless he's to degenerate into a subhuman tape bank of repetitive memories. If he did that, he'd be no better than me. I'm big enough to say this. A storehouse incapable of creativity. And that would be a waste. Despite all his faults and gaps, Ed is Earth. He never claimed to be the best there was, but he's representative of an awful lot of people. We need him. He's not alone here. He has fellow human beings now. I hope they can get through to him. Ed, something's wrong with the air conditioning. It's putting out a different kind of air. But to fix it, I'd have to go down to the bowels of the ship, and I don't like to think about bowels. So I put it off. I've put off a lot of things. There's all the time in the world. In the world? You'd think I'd want to fix the air thing. It'd take me away for a while. I used to think that what I missed was the freedom of movement, the ability to walk and wander, to go as far in any direction as I wanted to. But I guess I don't miss that really. Or if I do, I resent the fact that my walking space has been restricted to a few dozen feet. Rather than take such a limited stroll, I stay put. Since I can no longer walk up Broadway or in the Arizona desert or along the Appalachian Trail, I'd rather not walk at all. It's an adjustment I've made. So I sit and feel that I get fat. I don't actually. I can on the rations this thing is fitted out with. I eat and eat, and it's all high-protein stuff. Lately, I don't mind that it's reconstituted. It's palatable and crunchy, but I have not gained a pound, praise be. It shouldn't matter if I get big as a house, but there's the old vanity. What if someday, somewhere, I met a girl? I'd have to be presentable. Marty. The music he's been hearing broadcast by the girl Haya. Today he responded directly to it. He said, "Hey, that's good." And he switched on a tape to record it. He played it over later after her broadcast. Then he made an entry in his precious notebook. It was the first thing he'd written that wasn't a memory of Earth. He started to rattle his bats. His bars. He started to rattle his bars. He wants out into the real world. Deary tells me he'll get there in careful stages. The first stage is a visitor. It will be the girl disc jockey, Haya.